Hello guys, I'm back for another video. Today, just another short little video. I'm going to do my top 10 most watched Blu-Rays. Now, unlike the Steelbook video, this time I actually did put them in order. I tried my best to put them in order from, how many times I've watched each movie. Now, one of these is going to be a pretty big cheat, but I'll explain later. I'm sure you'll understand. So let's dive right in. Starting off with number 10, we have, hold on, let me hold it on this side, The Godfather. Yes. I do have the Coppola restoration, as well as I have the Omerta Edition trilogy box set, which I picked up on Black Friday. However, I had to go with just the first Godfather. A lot of people might disagree with me in that I think this is the best Godfather film. I know. Some people think Part 2, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Part 2. The first part and the second part are almost completely equal for me. But I gotta go with Part 1, just because Marlon Brando, man. Just simply because of Marlon Brando. Man, it's one of those performances, it's one of those characters that is just so perfect. It's a classic character, all-time classic. Incredible performance, just phenomenal. So I had to go with the first one because, oftentimes I will watch the first and second one, usually not back-to-back, usually like on back-to-back days, I'll watch the first one on one day, the second one the next day, but a lot of times I'll just watch the first one and not bother with the second one because I absolutely love this film. So, The Godfather. Number 9, The Departed. Oh yes. Really wish I had the Steelbook for this. I remember back a long time ago Best Buy had the Steelbook and I didn't get it. I wish I would have, but anyways. This is one of the very first Blu-rays I ever owned. I think this was probably like the 5th Blu-ray I ever owned or something like that. And I watched it as a kid, absolutely loved it. Watched this several times. I really love Jack Nicholson in this movie. I really think, I don't remember exactly, I don't think Jack Nicholson got an Oscar nod for this movie. I'm not sure though, I think he might have. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think he got a nomination. I know Mark Wahlberg did, maybe Jack Nicholson did, I don't remember exactly, but if he didn't, he definitely deserved it. He gives a fantastic performance in this movie. I love his character. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, everyone gives great performances. Really good music. Really good story. Just a great story. Great plot twists. All that stuff. Just a fantastic movie. Number 8. Shaun of the Dead. Very, very cool Steelbook. Just one of those days when you're feeling a little dead. Hilarious movie. This is definitely my favorite of the trilogy. The Simon Pegg, Nick Frost trilogy. With this, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. A lot of people say Hot Fuzz. A lot of people think Hot Fuzz is the best. Me, personally, I gotta go Shaun of the Dead. I watch this every October. Every October I watch mainly horror movies. But I always throw this one in the mix. My rule is I always got to throw a few comedy movies in the mix. Because, this is somewhat of a horror movie, but it's mainly comedy. And I got to throw a few comedy movies in there just to lighten the mood a little bit, It gets a little, if you're just watching pure horror movies, it gets a little dark, a little dark, a little depressing. You got to throw some comedy in there. Just throw some comedy in the mix, Really love this movie. Very funny. Very good acting. Very good writing. Next up, yet another comedy, Superbad. One of my favorite comedies of all time. Watched this several times as a kid. Absolutely loved it. I think I had the DVD, but I ordered the Blu-ray from Amazon a long time ago. Seen it several times. Hilarious movie. This movie is still funny to this day. Every time I watch it, it cracks me up. Bill Hader and Seth Rogen. I think, I don't know, I think out of everything in this movie, the Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, it's hilarious stuff, but I think the two cops, Bill Hader and Seth Rogen, are probably the funniest thing about this movie. Those guys are just absolutely hilarious. And just a very good story, very good script. Now here comes the cheat. And this is a colossal cheat. Let me tell you, this is an absolutely colossal cheat. This is number 6. And I'll just show you guys. We have 6 movies for number 6. That's right. But the thing is, I usually don't watch these movies alone. I usually don't watch, The Two Towers by itself or whatever, Return of the King. I watch these together. And not just Lord of the Rings. I watched The Hobbit before I watched Lord of the Rings. I know a lot of people don't like The Hobbit, but I absolutely love it. I think it's very fun, very good. A lot of great cinematography. The whole dragon scene, the scene with Smaug when Bilbo's in the cave, or he's in that big gold pit, and he's having that conversation with him. That scene is just so beautiful. The dragon is so well done. Out of all the CGI in these movies, the dragon was definitely the best part. I think it's probably one of the best done dragons in TV or movies. One of the best. So these are the extended edition box sets. And yeah, I haven't watched these much lately, but I used to watch them all the time. I would watch The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings right after. And that's also the extended edition box set. And since I told you my favorite scene in Hobbit, I might as well tell you my favorite scene in this. It's in The Two Towers at the end of it, where at the end of the battle when Gandalf rises above the hill on his horse, and then all of a sudden just all the riders of Rohan just start pouring down the hill. It's interesting to me that my favorite scene in both of these movies takes place at the end of the second film, because I just think that's, and my favorite movie for this is the second one, but my favorite movie for this is Return of the King. But I just find that interesting. My favorite scene in both of these is the end of the second film, because that's like the climax of the trilogy, the end of the second film. So very, very good movies in my opinion. And yeah, sorry for the cheat, but I had to do it. I couldn't pick just one of these movies because I watched them all together. So it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to all of you. Now, these are top 5. Top 5. Here we go. The Big Lebowski. My favorite Coen Brothers film. Wish I had the Steelbook or the Digibook, whatever, but I'm glad with this. Very, very good transfer, Just excellent transfer. Hilarious movie. I mean, what can I say about this that hasn't already been said? Hilarious, very funny movie. My favorite character in this movie would be Walter, played by John Goodman. As I said in one of my videos, I think John Goodman's a very underrated actor. And in this movie, not only is he just absolutely just a laugh riot, he's just so funny in this movie, but it's a good performance. I mean, it's a very good performance. He does a very good job in this film. And the script is great, writing is great, acting is great. I love this movie so much. Seen it several times. I can't even count how many times I've seen it. So, alright, so at number 4, we have The Dark Knight Rises. Great film. Really cool steelbook. Saw this in theaters. Loved it. Seen it several times on Blu-ray. And, I could have easily done the whole Dark Knight trilogy, but the thing is, unlike with Lord of the Rings, I usually don't watch the Dark Knight trilogy beginning to end. I do sometimes, but most of the time I would say I watch the Dark Knight individually or the Dark Knight Rises individually. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Batman Begins, but it's definitely the weakest of the trilogy, in my opinion. So what can I say about this movie? Tom Hardy, I love that guy. He's so awesome. Great actor, gives a great performance in this movie. Is the really good villain. That's what I love about the Dark Knight movies, is the villains are always so good, so well done, and great performances all around in this movie. Gary Oldman gives a very, very good performance. Michael Caine, great. I wish he was in the movie longer, but obviously, if you've seen it, you'll understand why he was gone for most of the movie. So, really good writing, really good score, fantastic movie. Moving on. The top three now. Top three. I'm sure these will not be any surprise to those of you who have seen my videos. Number 3, Django Unchained. This is my favorite Tarantino film. Really nice steelbook. A lot of people would disagree with that. A lot of people would say it seems the most common favorite Tarantino film is Pulp Fiction. But I gotta go Django. It's a very fun movie, very good adventure. Phenomenal performances. I mean, just incredible performances. Leonardo DiCaprio gives one hell of a performance. Samuel L. Jackson, very funny. Christoph Waltz, Jamie Foxx, great performances all around. Very, very good writing. You know, I've seen this movie probably at least 30 times or so, and I absolutely love it. To this day, I still love it, and, you know, it's just so great. I love the last, I think it's like the last 30 minutes of the film or so, maybe like last 20 minutes, where Django really, it's a very satisfying movie, you know, where Django just gets revenge, you know. It's a very satisfying movie. Very, very great movie. So, very good music. Great performances. What can I say? Top 2. Again, these will be no surprise to any of you, I'm sure. Inception. Very cool steelbook. You know, what can I say about this movie? It's very fun. Very, very good cinematography, great writing, great score, great performances. I mean, what can I really say about this movie that hasn't already been said? You know, just fantastic movie. I mean, really, it's very gripping, very... I don't know what to say. I mean, really, I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. Great movie, fantastic. Seen it probably 40 times at least, maybe 50. I don't know, but really good movie. And finally, I'm sure you can all guess what I'm gonna say. The Dark Knight. Yes. I saw this in theaters as a kid. I think I was probably 9 years old at the time, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much, you know, just from that very first scene, the bank robbery. It sucks you in right away. From that very first scene, you can immediately tell that you are in for one hell of a movie. And, again, great villain. Great, great villain. One of the best performances of all time, in my opinion. A lot of good performances. Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. Man, that guy gives one hell of a performance, too. You know, Heath Ledger gets most of the praise for the Joker, but you got to give it to Aaron Eckhart. He gives a hell of a performance in this movie. This is definitely my most watched movie of all time. You know, I own 5 separate copies of this movie, and this is like the only movie I can justify owning 5 separate copies of. Because I saw the movie in theaters, then I got the DVD as a kid, watched the DVD so many times. I mean, you know, sometimes I would just, when I had nothing better to do, I would just pop the DVD in and watch it. Sometimes I probably watched it like twice in 1 week, honestly. And then I got the Blu-ray, seen it several times. Probably seen this movie more than like, I don't know. I've probably seen this movie upwards of like 60 times. Maybe more than that, though, honestly. I mean, I don't even know how many times I've seen it. I can't count. So, and you know, to this day, this movie still gives me chills. You know, I mean, this movie never gets old to me. This movie still gives me chills. And I gotta be honest, it's extremely rare that a movie will make me cry. I don't think I've ever... Except maybe when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I probably cried during a couple movies, but it's extremely rare that a movie will make me cry. And there's 2 scenes in particular in this movie. I don't cry during them, but the tears start to well up. You know what I mean? When you can feel that you're about to cry, and you could just let it all loose, but instead you hold it back because you're a man and you gotta hold on to your manhood. But there's 2 scenes in this movie that still, to this day, no matter how many times I've seen this movie, they still well up the tears. and that is the first scene would be when Rachel dies, and you see Batman just standing, or he's sitting up against like some rubbish, or I mean wreckage from the exploded building, and that scene is very, very sad. But also the ending scene where Two-Face is, he has Gordon's son, he's holding a gun to his head, and just that is really a well acted scene. That scene definitely wells up the tears, because the music is just the music is so good in that scene, and just the whole thing about how he's like, go on, tell your son that it's gonna be okay, lie like I lied, just, oh man, great scene, great movie. Not sure what else to say. Just fantastic, great performances, phenomenal cinematography, great score, fantastic movie. And that's it, folks. We got through it all. So that's going to be all for this video. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'm hopefully going to be coming back soon here. I'll probably have a video within the next couple weeks, another Blu-ray update, because when I get paid next week, I'm going to hit up some pawn shops. That's right. That's my plan. I'm going to hit up as many pawn shops as I can, hopefully get a lot of good stuff, and I'll be back with a Blu-ray update as soon as I can. So until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.